Alright everyone, we are back in Attila. It's been a while. It's not base game, it's not an Oasis mod, it's actually a different mod. It is called Eldirath. Fairly recently I should say, released on Steam. It was actually it was at the top for a while. We need to get it back to the top because it is actually a lot of fun. Uh, with this, it is a bit of a fantasy flavor to it, so of course if you're not the biggest fan of fantasy, it might hurt you, but don't worry, there's plenty of humans, including my favorite faction, which I'm not playing today. Which of course is being played by a good old ally of me, which we'll get to once we start the factions. Uh, we are playing a random land map. They have their own custom maps. This one isn't one of them, sadly, just because he chose the first one available, just to see if we can deal with the lag, and the lag did go away once the siege was done. We had another one that was a siege. Obviously, it's not being shown. Mainly because the mod was updated while we were playing it, which was a lot of fun. But let's stop yapping. Let's get into a bit of the armies, some cool units, and we'll go from there. Uh, then a bit about what's happening over here. But you know what? We'll start with mine. My boys over here, we are the Kolgar's tribes. We are a mix of orcs and wolfy boys. So let's see here. Can we see a good one? All of them are armored. I'm trying to see if I can get one that's not very well armored. Maybe my pack masters are, because of course I brought dogs. I brought dogs, of course, and wolf boys. There we go. Here are the wolf boys here. You can see our little orcs and wolves. One of the best units here is the Moon Hunt Riders. And of course I brought my own pack masters, because of course I brought more wolves. But we'll get into that army comp in a second there, and kind of the bad situation I was in. But let's get to the next one. My favorite faction, personally, is one that Propane here is playing. It is the Rymorian Empire, because it's a human empire. Of course, I would think of them as my favorite. Frontier conscripts, yeah. Some of their probably their best looking units, the Valmorian Knights, of course. Look at those sexy boys. And of course, where is it? The Blood Drinkers. Or the Death Dealers, sorry. The Blood Drinkers are the other one. They're the ones without the helmets. I need to know, personally, what the difference between the Death Dealers and the Blood Drinkers are. Because these guys cost less and have more abilities and more numbers, in my opinion. But I would love to know. Next up, we have what's known as, oh gosh, this is J-Boy, and this is Duth Elgar, which are a bunch of stunties. Heavily armored dwarves. Yep, ironclad reavers. Very brutal in their own right. Yeah, mounted warband. A lot less cavalry focused than the rest of us. Even got King Hormgar of Flamebeard. Scary boy. But this one very infantry centric, of course, as those stunties are prone to be. Next up, and finally for us, we have Ninja Keeper. Basically our ace. The only one who really plays land battles in any game. And he is playing what's known as the the Korsganar Confederacy. Very Middle Eastern inspired. Here, let's see. Desert Spears. We've got, where are those elites? I mean, we have the Sun Lord Zarek here. Look at that fancy boy. More orcs, of course. Same flavor, different styling. Here we go. Berserkers. So the Berserkers are going to be very big for us, and of course, so are these Chosen right here. Bocav, very powerful skirmish cavalry. We're hoping that this can harass and deal with them. But we are in a disadvantage. We are down a mighty hill, and we need to hopefully get there. On the, on the other side, the bad guys, obviously. We have here first Bearded Warman playing the Kingdom of Drakenfeld. Very Arthurian style knight faction, as you can see. Eldric Pendragon right there. Look at that fancy boy. Oh, those helmets are nice, those winged helmets. Of course, very knightly silver-like knights. Oh, another beautiful one. We're not playing with the two new factions that were released with Steam, which are the Elves and the Sisterhood, which would have been fun, but you know, we went with what spoke to us, and someone else chose my faction. Knightly foot retinues, very, very medieval style, like Arthurian English style knights. So cavalry is going to be the danger for them, for sure. Next up we have, titled Some, bringing the Principality of Mordania. Prince Valen Darkmire, definitely not inspired by anyone from any other form. Form of media, white hair and an eye patch. Yeah. But he is a very dangerous one as well. Very powerful cavalry I've seen, but what really make him scary are these Raven Guard. One. Look at these sexy boys. Raven Guard. Blackguards. And of course, do we have the champions? Oh. Nope, that's, yeah, they're mixed. Here it is. Champion of Ravenspire Axes. Look at these badasses. Love the models, love the artwork on it. They look sexy. Also, a new unit that was released for them for the update was this. The Ravenspire Dragoons. They're a mix of crossbow and infantry. Of course, with this guy, you do have to get off the horses to fire the crossbow. They do have heavy shot. Like proper Dragoons, you get off the horses to fire, and then you get back on, maneuvering around, trying to deal with them. So they have their own skirmish cavalry for the fight. Now, we were limited to 3 cavalry. I'll let you know. Because, well, they can be pretty tough, especially for the Kingdom of Darkfire. And, of course, also for the Principality of Mordania. But next up, we have, well, the first of the 2 most annoying factions to deal with. We have Joe on it playing the Internal Mandate, a very Chinese-style faction with a twist. They're all undead. Provincial with crossbows, dragon specters. I mean, I'm not going to touch those guys in a sec for right now, but you also have the Emperor's Executioners. And, well, the Jade Guard and that motherfucker, the Imperial Earthshakers. We also have the Forsaken Emperor Yemen Yan. But let's take a close up. Look at that Jade Guard. Rusted Jade. Very undead style. These guys are fire lancers, so they are brutal in melee, and then they have their ranged ability. Then, of course, let's see if we can find the Emperor himself. Is it that guy? I don't think it is. Who knows? He's the only one who really looks different, so the flag bearer might be the Emperor himself. Who is sure? But let's see, discipline, expert charge, defense. So very defensive unit. Smaller unit number, and as you can see, medium zombie command. So he keeps his boys safe. And of course, cavalry-wise, he's brought the Emperor's Eyes. Just some pretty decent shot cav there. And then the bane of my existence, Mr. Inoris, playing the Iron Men of Kalma. More undead. And as we get into this, we're going to find out why he was such a bane of my life. He's got the skewers as javelins. Chillguard long spearmen. Or, let's see. Here we go. The chargers. Frostspire chargers. Yeah, I'm ignoring that for right now. Queen Kalma of the Iron Men. There she is. Very, very scary. Dread Wardens. And I believe that's yet another charger. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. He also has these war chariots. Frostborn war chariots. Side chariots, those look like spears up front. Holy shit. Like these guys, ugh, they might be the bane of my existence. And also we have, there we go, the Dread Riders. So, if you notice, he's a little further out from us, about a minute into the, a minute to 2 minutes into the deployments. He's like, "Hey, be aware of this." And he was like, "It's like, oh, what's going on?" It's like, "Well, Charlie's playing, and he's probably going to do this." And I'm like, "Oh, no, you don't have to worry about that." And he may or may not have figured out that I was hiding in the only patch of trees, really, in the map. Yeah. So, let's get this battle started to see how it goes. Am I going to be able to overcome the fact that I was caught out? Or will I not? And will my allies be able to win this fight? That is the question. Balance of Power says no, but that's, even though we have more men, that's very scary. But they do always prize cavalry very highly because this is Attila Cav. So let's find out. I've talked a lot, and for those who have skipped to this point, we're going to be beginning. So, good job. All right, getting started. As everyone moves up, there is no speech. I should check for it. My army is built very specifically. They're very berserker heavy guerrilla deployment, ignore terrain, and they scare. My army is built around fear, which isn't a bad strategy. With all this fear infantry, I'm going to do some real damage. My job or my goal, even if I get caught, is to break the enemy as fast as possible so I can go support my allies. The issue is I'm fighting the undead. The undead don't give a shit about morale because, well, they don't care about their mortal lives because they don't have one. So as you can see, even the levies, even the tier 1 levies, excellent morale. 178. Top of that we have, yep, here we go. These guys, where are they? Chargers. 178 morale. 178 morale. These guys are not breaking. These guys are dying. Of course, you can see the Dread Riders are moving out to go scout. Still hidden. So haven't been caught yet. They're maneuvering around. They don't see anything here. They are getting spotted, so they are suspicious. Of course, so he's going to hide in the forest and hide. Separately, Joe's bringing a unit of his Emperor Eyes down. Which they have. Yeah. How much morale do they have? Oh, only 70. Look at that. These guys can break. But I send the dogs after them to go deal with them. My hope is to deal with as much cav as possible with these dogs. Try to disrupt formations, try to deal what I can. Because killing them with dogs is going to be huge for us. We've lost a few dogs, but they're starting to lose men. And my boys have been now spotted because the dogs are out. They now have their confirmation. Here comes Honoris with his army. Separate to that, we have some Blackguard moving up to side with the dragoons. We're trying to figure out how the dragoons work as it's our first fight with them. Some of these chosen shock cavalry are moving along the ridge, while the infantry is just trying to make it up the hill. They're far away from the engagement. Well, this one's about to heat up. Separately, I'm still trying to deal with this cavalry. I'm not letting it escape. I want them dead. I want my dogs to kill them before I send them back because it's very important for us to, well, to be perfectly honest, to eliminate as much cavalry on this field as we can. We already have a unit of Almorian Knights here to back me up as I start to move back. And my goal, very much so, is to surround them. Surround, envelop, deal with the enemy as I need to. Though First Blood will go to those Dread Riders in a second. As I'm moving along the side, basically I'm trying to stretch out my formation, you can kind of see. Very wide. More cavalry moving up here. We have the mounted warband here to help. Another unit of Valmorian knights, so we have 2 there. I have the Feral Warriors, militia soldiers moving around the flank. Here comes the Dread Riders now. I don't see them, they're still hidden. I'm hoping I have a little more time, because I can see the majority of the army. I'm like, I can get into formation fast enough. I've already got some of my boys in formation. I'll be fine. Which I would be if it was just the infantry. I would get able to get that wide enough formation and get to my allies fast enough. Of course, Enora's realizing that, releases his hidden units, and bam. Right on in. I send my wolves in to chase them off, but they did get first blood. And already 36 kills. They're doing some real damage. And I realized, fuck it. They're too close to actually continue the retreat. So this batch is going to stay over here. Over here, this mounted warband is trying to deal with them. The first unit of Emperor's Eyes is gone. So my wolves are on the way back. Somewhere. They'll be released back out in a second. Yep, there they are. Wolves released back out, trying to get into these guys, halt up some of their advancements, so I can flank around. As you can see, already beginning. Use that as the brunt, take the damage there, and surround. And my axe is trying to bring down these horses, because I do not have spears. This is a very fear-based, aggressive army. And you can see I've already brought that dude down to 47, but he has 76 kills. Separately, some of my boys, and here comes the chariots. The next issue to deal with is these. Now that the chariots are coming in, I'm going to bring in... Basically what I'm relying on is those Moonhunt Riders to deal with any fast movers. That's honestly my best unit. And yep, I'm already getting first units breaking. Where are they? These guys. Dreadlord. Come on. Dread Riders at 98. A lot of smashing in the center. A lot of my units getting ready to break. You can see 9 morale. But I am tearing through the infantry pretty well. More chariots over here. Getting into my feral warriors. Trying to get these cleavers in. If I can get them on the flank, I can do some real damage. Packmasters are just going to die.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
And as that's happening, as the battle lines do clash on the ambush, the lines are just forming on the allied side.
The men's resolve is failing.
You can see here, a bit of a clump up here, but you can see starting to get into the flank. The queen, of course, getting engaged in combat there. She's still healthy, however, those long spearmen are getting crushed. And as you can see, moving these feral warriors around the flanks, trying to keep the feral warriors in this fight alive. But just trying to surround, trying to envelop, to do as much as possible. Trying to finish off these chariots as well, because they will not break. Want to start to maneuver around everywhere I can. Issue is, yeah, these warband need to keep moving. And we have the first engagements on the enemy side. We have the Desert Spears, fire shot going in, versus the Knightly Foot Retinue. Tier 3 heavy infantry versus, well, Tier 1 levies. Yeah. Very skirmish heavy faction, so they're losing to those knightly boys. But those court knights getting shot in the flank, that's exactly what we need. Yep. Nice. moving in against the general, trying to force them to keep maneuvering. The Grail Marksman. Damn, fancy boys. Battle line starting to gauge here. Get some champions of Ravenspire axes against those Desert Spears. Oh, poor boys. As we continue over here, skirmish phase going on with a lot of the infantry. Imperial Company trying to maneuver around. Over here is just a mosh pit. You can see, just trying to engage everywhere I can. The issue is, I want to break through. That's my job, is to break through quickly and smash them. Got the Moon Riders in here, doing a great job. My general not doing so great. Another thing to note for this mod is, if you have morale, your general is very important. They die, you're fucked. Very, very Attila heavy that way, but even more so with these guys. But the issue is my whole army is built around fear. These guys went berserk, and now they're going right in. Yeah. My guys are completely built around being as aggressive as possible, as quickly as possible, and I can't do that. I'm not going to be able to break these guys. I'm going to have to kill them to the men, which is not what my army is built for. So I'm relying on my allies, and I'm going to do as much damage as I can over there. Imperial Spear Company versus some of those Jade Guard. Imperial Swords going in against those Dragon Spectres.
Our men are breaking off.
We have the Dowie properly in. Yep. Shield Wall Protectors going in against the Champions of Ravenspire Axis. And over here we have the Blood Guards of Sangrenok. Elite. Yeah. Elite heavy infantry just getting some. They were winning that fight and they just get smashed in the back by that Blackguard. That Blackguard already up to 133 kills. They are crushing it. And yeah, you can see that number drop. They've just been crushed. They've done their job and they're just going to continue around the field. Smashing what they can, crushing what they can. The Berserkers are now just losing it. Those Silver Light Knights not doing as well. You can see those Berserkers crushing the infantry. The Chosen still maneuvering around, but this flank is pretty much crushed. You can see Civic Wardens. Nice little flank charge getting right into the Court Knights. Same with the Cavalry, just cutting them down.
The men have broken and are fleeing.
But you can see it. Our flank is getting crushed there, though. Those Berserkers are going to do a good deal of holding the enemy back, keeping going. We have ranged in infantry. You can already see them maneuvering around to get to the rest. Blood Guard, yeah.
The men are losing faith.
With the Berserkers winning, they're going to keep advancing. They're going to advance. Where are they going to advance to? That is the question. That unit's routed, so they're going to, let's see. Honestly, it'd be great if they get right into those Silver Lakes. Doesn't look like they are. It looks like they're going right into those peasant swords. Oh, poor peasants. Yeah, they're dead. Over here, huge engagement. You can see the dwarves are doing well, crushing the flanks of the Axe Warriors. And actually doing very well in this fight overall. I mean, you can obviously see the areas where they're winning, but I mean, the drag... Oh, nice, we killed the general. But you can see they got off their horses to fire, now they're back on.
A unit is running from the enemy.
Which general is dead? Yeah, it's the one over here. King Kala is dead. Or Queen Kala is dead. My boys are still going there at 285, but they're dealing with the Chargers. I think my general's dead as well, which is what's leading to some of this breaking, and this is pretty much what Inors was aiming for to hopefully win the fight. But as you can see, I'm doing a real number still on them as well. But look at this. 5 men left and still going. Like, this is... And you can see, all my men are breaking now. And they're going to be able to move over. When it comes to the Imperials are just getting run down. Emperor's Eye going right on in. Oh my god. I mean, just crushing them, and they're going to continue being able to go. They're going to get into that crossbow company in a second. Death Dealers at 52 kills, but just getting surrounded. Imperial Sword Infantry doing well over there. Doesn't even look like the majority of the units engaging. But here come the fire lances. How'll the cavalry do? Not very well. So just over here, this flank, just in general, 255 though, that's amazing, is just getting crushed. If they all advanced away from the Death Dealers, and Death Dealers are going to try to charge, but here we go. Let's see if we get the shot. And they're going to get in and line up the shot here. Yep, and bam. And they're just going to move away now. I mean, those Death Dealers do tons of damage when they can get a proper fight. Yeah, my men rally and come back a few times, but it is it for them. Yeah. Yeah. And just crush that. So with that, yeah. The fight is ending up over here. The cavalry keeps going in. The cavalry's been keeping in reserve. Yeah. The fucking king himself coming on in. I mean, the Blackguard finally dropping. The Sun Lord doing his job. Yeah. The Chosen crushing themselves.
We are losing ground.
Yep, just getting targeted by Royal Archers and Grille Marksmen. Yeah, this ends up being a pretty hefty defeat for us. The Dwarves, still with a lot of men left, are going to start breaking out. And to be honest, this was a victory of cavalry. Overall, just bad matchups. If that ambush was anyone else, it was literally one of the humans that were here. Could have won with ease. My faction would have worked. I committed to the fear effect, and I got trounced. On the flank here, I mean, just the heavy knights, heavy cavalry against didn't have much answer for them against them, to be perfectly honest. Like, these guys really couldn't deal with them very well. So it was just a loss of matchups. I mean, even here, where we did the best, the Mordanian, they're all axe warriors, they're all high armor piercing, and they went against the most heavily armored faction. But unit-wise, like, we did put a good showing of it. A lot of their units are damaged, if not fully dead. But here's the end. Sunlord himself firing at the end, trying to kill what he can. And of course, the last spot over here as well. Well, that's about it here. Nice little fight. We got a bit screwed on positioning. That's for sure. But let's see how everyone did. Yeah, valiant defeat. I mean, Joe was the healthiest left. I almost tore Norris down. Titled was still fairly healthy. They were still fairly healthy in their rights. but let's take a look. J-Boy, I mean, yeah. Nothing too crazy there. Kill-wise, I mean, they were meant to hold. They were meant to just tank damage, and you saw a lot of them were doing just that. They were the healthiest army at the army losses for sure, even though they engaged pretty much when everyone else did as well. Ninja, oh, I might as well because the army comps are smaller. Let's see who did the best. I mean, it was these Ironclad Reavers and the Mounted War Band itself. Ninja over here, 125 for Sunlord. I mean, obviously all those Desert Spears doing jack shit. Where are those Berserkers? Berserkers, not too many kills on those, but these two right here, 98, I mean, 197 right there. And then those chosen 86, 87, just harassing the enemy. Me, my general got 116. Definitely not meant for fighting, that's for sure. Only meant for reacting. Let's see. 111, 145. Packmasters 116, 70, and of course that Moonhunt Rider 289. That's what I was most hoping on. And it goes Berserk, which I didn't realize, which is amazing. These Packmasters do as well, or can as well. This entire line here, these gray for Axe Guard and these Iron Storm Cleavers were all Fear Effect. My general also had the Fear Effect ability, and I fucked up with who I fought. Propane, 256 on his general. Beautiful general. 126 on that Imperial Heavy Sword Company. Those Death Dealers ended up with 112 kills before they died. That's impressive. And I'm glad to see that. Inora's here, 135 for the Queen Kalma. 104 with that Spear Militia. 120 with that Spear Militia. 136 with those Dread Wardens of Karma. 138, 104 with those Frost Steel Chargers. Frostwind Javelins, 114 kills. Then the Skewers, 123 there. 104 with those Dread Riders. 121 and 210 for those Chariots. Those Chariots probably won them the game. Or that fight over there. They killed so much of my men. Joe here with the internal mandate. Healthiest army left on the battlefield. Let's see. 136 for that Jade Guard. 132 for that crossbow. 134 for that Executioner, 277 for that Emperor's Eyes. I got that one. Killed it to a man. That other one. That's why I was aiming to kill as much cavalry as possible. Or I wanted to kill that cavalry at least. Kill-wise, Spear Sergeant, 241, 103. Champions of Ravenspire Axes, 248, 119, 105, 148, 117. Then the Raven Guard, 417, 165. 233 and 116 for those Blackguard and Dragoons. This is what I mean with just bad engagements. I, as a Fear Effect person, had to fight the undead. The dwarves, who are all armor-based, had to fight these guys whose core infantry rely around those Raven Guard and those Champions of Ravenspire Axes, and you can see what happened. And of course, Bearded, playing as Drakenfell. Nightly Foot Retinue, 215, 104, 145, 149. Court Knights, 136. And then the Silver Lakes, 130 and 155. That's that. We lost pretty much on all fronts. I mean, probably I should have retreated earlier. I shouldn't have committed as long as I did. Probably would have kept us in the fight a bit longer. Though, the fight in the forest I wanted because a lot of my units have that ignore terrain, which helped me a little bit. But it was just, the attackers did everything right. They crushed us with the cavalry. They did amazing jobs when you saw it with the cavalry, especially with those Blackguard just getting right into the back of, where are they? One of these Blood Guards of Sangrenok, which were winning the fight, like handedly winning the fight, and then just a Blackguard into the back, and they lost half their number. So, we got our ass kicked. It happens. No, definitely. So let's get this through, and let me know what you think we should have done differently, what the enemy should have done differently. But I'll see you next time. Bye for now.